And at that point, I was just very frustrated because it was the second time that summer that something illegal had happened to me. Hey guys, it's Hope, and I am here for a story time. Now, this story time is all about discrimination, and I'm excited to get started, so let's jump right in. Disclaimer: I am fully out of college. I am in a great job in a great place. These stories were 6 years ago, so nothing is related to current life. Okay, now let's get into these stories. As a high school graduate going into college, I wanted some job experience. So I decided to apply for some jobs, and I knew that I loved dogs, so my plan was to apply to some kennel assistants or help in veterinary hospitals, taking care of dogs, things like that. So I applied to a couple of jobs. And one of those jobs was to a doggy hotel. And I did not disclose my disability in my applications because I wanted them to see my application for what it was, choose me, and then when I got into the interview process, my plan was to bring it up there by bringing my white cane into the office to interview. And then I was hoping they would ask me questions and learn what I needed as a legally blind person, and then we could work out accommodations from there. So I did not disclose my disability to the doggy hotel. So I applied to the doggy hotel. They thought I was a really good applicant. So they emailed me and said, "Would you like to schedule an interview? We think that you are a great candidate. We would love to schedule an interview with you." And I immediately said, "Yes, of course. I would love to schedule an interview. Here's my availability." They gave me some times. We chose a time, put it on the calendar. So I get ready to go to the interview. My mom drives me to the location at the doggy hotel. I get out of the car with my white cane because I didn't want to take my guide dog. My thought was that if I'm working with dogs, I don't want to have my guide dog in that type of environment. So I walk in with my white cane. I go up to the receptionist's desk, and the receptionist says, "Hello, how can I help you?" And I say that I'm here for an interview with this HR person. And so the receptionist directs me to go and sit down and wait, and then that person would be out shortly. As I turn to go and sit down, the HR person actually meets me in the middle. And we are using pseudonyms just to protect privacy. So she comes up to me and she goes, "I'm Sarah. I'm so, so sorry, but I am all booked out for today." And she shakes my hand and she's very apologetic and very sincere. And so I'm like, oh, maybe something came up. Just think the best of her. Great. So I said, "No problem. Just email me and we can find another time to meet for our interview. No worries." And she says, "Oh my word, thank you so much. I had a lot coming up this afternoon. I'm totally booked. I'm so sorry I missed our interview." And I just kind of said, "No, no worries. It's fine. We'll reschedule our interview. Not a problem." So I leave, and I now have to call my mom and tell her to come get me because the interview fell through. So we go back home. We get home, and about 2 weeks later, I haven't heard anything from Sarah. Nothing at all. So I decide to send another email basically saying, "I'm really sorry that I surprised you with my white cane. That may have come as a shock. Let me reassure you that I am capable of doing the work. I have my own guide dog. I've been taking care of him for about a year now. I am very responsible and can do this job well." And the next day, she sent me back a reply that basically said, "It wasn't your disability. I was swamped, and then I went out on vacation, but we actually found somebody, so we'll keep your resume for 6 months." I don't believe it. I can't believe that it was that she was swamped. I don't think that that's true anymore. I think that was very much an attempt on discrimination. And that was kind of the first time that I've experienced that. I think my other jobs that I'd gotten, like working with kids or helping in my elementary school, things like that, I think I got because people knew me or because I had connections and things like that. So this was the first time that I'd ever gone and tried to get a job solely on my own. And I didn't really realize that people could be dishonest until then. And so that was kind of a shocker for me. So the next job that I applied to was another kennel assistant job, and it was at a veterinary hospital. And I disclosed in my cover letter that I was legally blind, but that I have a yellow lab guide dog that I've been taking care of for a year, and I'm very competent with dogs, and I would love to work for them. And they scheduled me for an interview at 7:30 in the morning. So I get there at 7:30 in the morning and they take me back. Now, I thought this was going to be just a regular job interview, but they explained to me that this was actually going to be a working job interview. They wanted to see how I handled dogs, how responsible I was with cleaning up and things like that. They wanted to give me a tour of the back rooms and show me where the dogs were kept and where the food was kept and where the cleaning supplies was kept and everything else. And so I said, okay, no problem. And so she started having me do things, and I was taking dogs out, and I was helping to clean cages and taking dirty blankets out and replacing them with clean linens and everything else. And I worked for about 4 hours. This was a 4 hour working interview. I hope I did air quotes right. I'm legally blind. I don't know. Anyways, I was doing a working interview for 4 hours, and at the end of the 4 hours, they said, well, we think that you could be qualified for this job. We would obviously have to train you, and you would work with somebody until you felt comfortable with working alone. This is a very small hospital, so it was not unusual for the kennel assistant to be scheduled by herself and to work alone doing all of the things that needed to be done. And all of the things included taking care of the dogs, taking them out, giving them food and water, sometimes giving medication if you needed to, and then also cleaning the facilities. So, vacuuming, cleaning the bathrooms, taking out the trash, things like that. So, I did all of that. And at the end, she told me that she thought that I would be a great person to have, but she didn't know when I was supposed to start. So she was like, let me get back to you on that. But also, you're gonna have to go buy some scrubs. I was like, okay. So the working interview started at 7:30 and I left at 11:30. So it was a 4 hour working interview. We left and my mom and I stopped at the store to get some scrubs. They were $20 scrubs. They were nice $20 scrubs. So we go, we get those. I spend the evening practicing what I've been taught as to how to leash the dog so that whenever I do start working, I'm ready or as ready as I can be to do what needs to be done. And we don't hear anything all evening, and so I'm assuming that nothing's happening tomorrow or even the next day. But at around 10:30, she sends me a text and is like, "Can you come at 7:30 tomorrow morning and bring all of your paperwork so that we can get you into the system and get you started working and everything?" And I was like, "Sure, of course, because supposedly this is going to be my new manager. I don't want to say no to a new manager. So, of course, it's 10:30 at night. I have to go upstairs to get my mom, who is getting ready for bed, and say, actually, can we find all of the documents that I need in order to go there tomorrow and get paid and everything and start working? So at 10:30 at night, we're rooting around, we're finding all the correct documents, we've got them all laid out, we all go to bed. 6:30 the next day, we all get up. We're all rushing around getting ready because my mom's going to take me back to go turn in my paperwork and to get everything started so I can start working. At 7 o'clock, she texts me and says, "Oh, actually, I need my manager in here in order to do the correct paperwork and to get everything figured out. Can you actually come in at 8:30?" And I replied, "Yes, of course, I can come in at 8:30, no problem." And so now we're all ready, but we're just kind of waiting around for things to happen because we were going to leave 15 minutes after she sent the message. We all get started and do it again. And just as I'm heading out the door, I get another text. And it's basically like, "Oh, actually, I don't think I had the authority to hire anybody. We'll kind of keep your information on record in case we do want to hire somebody else, but at this time, we're not hiring anyone else." And at that point, I was just very frustrated because it was the second time that summer that something illegal had happened to me because I worked for 4 hours and they told me that the pay was $9 an hour. So I wasted my time for 4 hours to do this working interview. And supposedly, I was to get paid $36 and I lost $36. So they worked me without paying me, which is very unfortunate. So those were the 2 times in high school that I got discriminated against. I would love to know your thoughts in the comments section. If you have any questions or any other content that you would like for me to do, I would love to know that in the comment section as well. Also, please feel free to like and subscribe and share with your friends, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, I hope that you have a lovely sunny day.